So what happens when a tech giant finds itself in a total communications crisis? Well, over one chaotic 48-hour period, AMD managed to do just that, unleashing a wave of panicked statements and confusing retractions. We're going to unpack exactly how a single line in a software update spiraled into a massive controversy, and what it says about trust in the tech world.
In this sentence, this is where things went from really bad to so much worse. After a ton of backlash from customers, AMD's big official response wasn't an apology. Nope. It was a suggestion that the problem wasn't their message, it was that the community just didn't get it. You know, it's that classic corporate move, and boy, did it backfire.
And that really is the million-dollar question here, isn't it? Was this all just a simple misunderstanding by the public, like AMD was trying to say, or was it a complete and total failure of communication, where a company decided it was easier to blame its own customers than to just own up to a mistake?
All right, let's dive right into AMD's response, because that's really the heart of this whole mess. Their strategy from the get-go was to frame this whole thing as if the public was the one who got it wrong, not them.
You gotta pay close attention to the language they used here. Phrases like, "there has been some confusion." That's passive voice. It's a clever way of talking about a problem without actually taking any blame for it. Critics jumped all over this, calling it corporate gaslighting. Basically, trying to make your own customers doubt what they're seeing and feeling, making them think they're the ones who are wrong.
Okay, so to really get why everyone was so upset, we have to rewind to the moment it all started. And it all kicked off with just a few lines of text in a driver update that sent absolute shockwaves through the PC gaming world.
So this is what set everything off on October 29th. On the left, you've got the newest GPUs, they're getting full support, all good. But on the right, a massive list of super popular graphics cards were suddenly being moved to maintenance mode. That basically means no more priority updates for new games. And the crazy part? This wasn't some ancient hardware. A lot of these cards are still being sold brand new, right now.
And believe it or not, it gets even messier. On top of that bombshell policy change, the very same announcement had a statement in it that was just plain wrong. It said they were disabling USB-C charging on some cards. They later had to admit to a tech site that this was, and I'm quoting here, a fuck-up. So this shows the confusion wasn't just in how people read the notes, there were actual mistakes coming straight from the company.
So with the community, justifiably freaking out, AMD tried to do some damage control. But instead of one clear, simple statement, what we got was this chaotic mess of different, contradictory messages sent out to different press outlets. Just look at how wild these 48 hours were. First, the driver note drops and everyone panics. Then, a statement to one outlet seems to confirm everyone's worst fears. But then, a different, much vaguer statement goes out to another outlet. And then finally, they put up a blog post trying to basically rename and rebrand the whole thing. It was just one inconsistent message after another, which only made things worse.
And in that second statement, we got this absolute gem of corporate speak. They promise support as required by market needs. I mean, what does that even mean? It's so vague, it's practically useless. It felt like they were just trying to calm everyone down without actually committing to anything at all. And then, in the final blog post, AMD pulled off a little PR magic trick. That scary-sounding maintenance branch was suddenly renamed to the much friendlier, dedicated stable driver branch. See what they did there? They turned a negative, getting fewer features, into a positive, stability, while kind of hoping no one would notice it's still the lower priority track.
And look, this wasn't just some abstract corporate drama playing out online. This had immediate, real-world impacts on a huge number of products that people had already spent their hard-earned money on and were still buying.
This is the thing that really got under people's skin. We're not talking about some ancient, dusty hardware from a decade ago. The RDNA 2 architecture is the engine inside brand new gaming devices that were launched this year. Just imagine buying a shiny new handheld PC, only to find out a few months later that its core tech is already being put on the back burner.
And the list of things affected is just staggering. It's not just one line of graphics cards. We're talking about super popular handhelds like the ROG Ally and the Legion Go, the graphics built into modern Ryzen CPUs, even the same basic architecture that's in the PlayStation 5 and the Xbox. It even hit a brand new GPU that had launched in China just weeks before. The scale of this was absolutely massive. Okay, so let's zoom out a bit, because a fumble this big isn't just about making customers angry for a week. It has real, long-term consequences for AMD's brand and its big fight for market share against its main rival, NVIDIA. When you put AMD's moves side by side with its biggest competitor, NVIDIA, well, it doesn't look great. NVIDIA famously supported its GeForce 1080 Ti, a card from 2017 with top-of-the-line drivers for over 7 years. Meanwhile, AMD is sidelining products you can still walk into a store and buy new today. When you're about to drop hundreds of dollars on a new part, that kind of thing really matters.
But you know what makes this whole thing sting even more? This quote right here, from AMD's own head of graphics engineering just 2 years ago, talking about how their cards are future-proof. After this whole mess, that statement just feels like a broken promise to a lot of people. So at the end of the day, here's what it all boils down to. The biggest problem wasn't even the technical decision to split the drivers. A lot of people could probably understand that. The real damage, the thing that will stick around, was the response. It was the choice to spin, to deflect, and to basically tell your customers they were confused instead of just saying, hey, we messed up and here's the plan.
And all of this leaves us with a pretty big question, doesn't it? In this incredibly competitive market, we always focus on benchmarks and performance. But maybe this whole thing forces us to ask, how much is a company's word actually worth? In the long run, does that trust matter just as much as the hardware itself?